So here's our second part of the notes on equations containing radicals. So remember from the first part of our notes, in the very beginning, we said that an equation containing a radical can be something like this, but a radical equation actually has the variable under the radical. And our technique for solving that is to isolate the radical. Well, all of the examples we did before had just one radical. Just one radical, we isolate and then square. Just one radical, it's isolated, we square. On this example, just one radical, we isolate it, and here we cubed because it's a cube root. Same thing here, just one radical, we isolated and squared. Well, now we're going to look at some examples with two radicals, okay, with a variable under each of them. Oops. So, first example here is square root of 2x plus 5 equals 2 times square root of 2x plus 1. Now the technique here is a little bit different because you can't just isolate a radical because you have two radicals. So what you're going to do is you're going to make one radical on one side of the equation and the other radical on the other side. Oops. So put one radical on either side of equal sign. That's not really very clear. Alright, so that's step one. Get one radical on either side of the equal sign. After that, you want to eliminate the radical. And most of these problems are going to be a square root, so you're going to have to square both sides by squaring or cubing, etc. So let's do that. So we have to square the left side. And I don't technically need parentheses, I'm going to put them anyways. I'm going to square that, and I have to square the right side. Now the left side is easy because the square and the square root cancel each other. And so I just have 2x plus 5. On the right side, however, I have a plus sign in the middle here, so I cannot just distribute this square inside because of the plus. If it was multiplication, we could, but since it's addition, we can't. So we need to double distribute. We have 2 times square root of 2x. The whole 2x is under the radical. Plus 1 multiplied by itself. 2 times square root of 2x plus 1. Now the left side stays the same, there's nothing we can do there, but on the right side we need to double distribute. So I'm going to write 2x plus 1, or sorry, 2x plus 5 equals, now here my first term I'm going to multiply into the second binomial. So I'm going to multiply this. 2 times 2 is 4. And square root of 2x times square root of 2x. Well, the square roots are going to cancel each other. Remember, it's just like we were doing before. It completes the square. We'd have 2 times 2, and we'd have x times x, so it really just ends up being 2x. So that's my first term, 4 times 2x, which I'm going to write down here as 8x. And I'll rewrite my left side also. 2x plus 5. Now we have to keep going. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it into here. Well, 2 square root 2x times 1 is just itself. Anything times 1 is itself. So we get 2 square root 2x. Now let's take our second term, the 1, and we're going to multiply it in also. So 1 times 2 square root 2x. Again, anything times 1 is itself, so we get plus 2 square root 2x. And then last but not least, we've got 1 times 1. And 1 times 1 is 1. I have like terms in the middle. 2 square root 2x plus 2 square root 2x. These are like terms. Remember, they have the same index. They have the same radicand. So I have 4 square root 2x. So I'll write that under here. Plus 4 square root 2x. And then plus our 1 out here. Now this equation is just like the ones we had before. It has one radical in it. So we got to isolate the radical and then square again. So there's like 2 steps here. We square once, simplify, isolate, and we square again. So if I come back over here where we said put one radical on either side of equal sign, eliminate the radical by squaring or cubing. After that, our step 3 would be isolate radical again, and eliminate radical. So that's what we're going to do. So let's see here. We're going to subtract 8x. We're going to subtract the 1, and that's going to get this term by itself. So minus 8x. Hopefully I can fit it all on one screen. Minus 8x, and I'm going to subtract the 1 in the same step. Minus 1 minus 8x. Two minus 8x is negative 6x. So we'll have negative 6x. Oops. Plus 4. Equals, and we're left with 4 square root 2x. Now if I wanted to, in this case, I could divide by the 4 before I square, but I know that dividing by the 4 is going to leave me with a fraction here, and I don't want to deal with fractions. So I'm going to leave the 4 there, and now that I've isolated this radical term, I can square both sides. So I'm going to say square and square. Let me bring this to another screen now. So we'll have on the left side negative 6x plus 4 squared, which is negative 6x plus 4 times negative 6x plus 4. And on the right side we had 4 times square root of 2x squared. Remember, the parentheses show that everything's being squared here. So I'm going to start double distributing. Negative 6x times negative 6x is positive 36x squared. My middle term, negative 6x times 4, is negative 24x. So minus 24x. But I'm going to have another minus 24x here. So I'm going to go ahead and write my middle term. Negative 24x minus 24x is negative 48x. And my last term here is 16. It's 4 times 4 is 16. Equals, now the right side. Remember, we're squaring both parts, so I end up with 4 squared, which is 16, times, and square root of 2x squared just leaves me with 2x, because the square root and the squared will cancel. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see. So dividing everything, or I'm sorry, multiplying, this becomes 32x. And 36x squared. Minus 48x. Plus 16. We have a quadratic, so I'm going to set it equal to 0, so minus 32x minus 32x. Got some big numbers here. Oops. 36x squared and this will be 80, so minus 80. X plus 16 equals 0. Now these are really big numbers, so I want to start simplifying this a little bit so my numbers aren't quite so big. I know that 4 goes into 36 and 8, and 80 and 16. So 4 times 9 is 36. So I know if I divide this by 4, I get 9x squared. Minus, I know if I divide this by 4, I get 20x. And if I divide 16 by 4, I get 4. That equals 0. And so all I've done is just simplify it a little bit. Now again, you can do A times C, rewrite the middle term, do your T-chart, all that stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and write out the factors, just doing guess and check. I know that it's 9x minus 2 times x minus 2. Equals 0. So zero product property says that if we have two quantities multiplied together, 9x minus 2 and x minus 2, if they equal 0, one of them must be 0. So I know that my x is going to be 2 over 9. And that's from setting this equal to 0, adding the 2, dividing by 9, or positive 2. And we always have to check to make sure that these aren't extraneous solutions. So I'm going to go on to the next page and I'm going to check. I'm going to start with 2 over 9. And I'm going to substitute it back into my original equation. So, let's see here. Check. What am I checking again? 2 over 9, yes. Alright, so square root of 2 times 2 over 9 plus 5 equals 2 times square root of 2 times 2 over 9 and then plus, what is this, plus 1. Okay, so on the left side, let's start simplifying. 2 times 2 over 9 is 4 over 9 plus 5 equals 2 times square root of, again, 2 times 2 over 9 is 4 over 9 plus 1. 4 over 9 plus 5, we need a common denominator here. So I'm going to put this over 1. I'm going to multiply by 9. 9 times 5 is 45, and 45 plus 4 is 49. So we end up with square root of 49 over 9. And on the right side here we have 2 times, and the square root of 4 over 9 is 2 over 3. Plus 1. Square root of 49 over 9, square root of 49 is 7, square root of 9 is 3. Remember, this is the principal root because there's no minus in front. We assume that it's positive. It's talking about the principal root. 2 times 2 over 3 is 4 over 3 plus 1. Well, again, we need a common denominator. So I'm going to put this over 1, multiply by my clever form of 1, 3 over 3. So I get a common denominator. And then we'll have 4 plus 3 is 7. So, yay, it works. We get 7 over 3 equals 7 over 3. Check. So I know that 2 over 9 is a solution. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Solution. Alright, now let's check the 2. 2 should be a little bit easier because we don't have fractions. Check. And it is... what was our original problem? I forget. Okay, square root of 2 times, and I'm checking 2, so 2 plus 5 equals 2 times square root of 2 times 2 plus 1. Now, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9, so we get square root of 9. And then here we get 2 times 2 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, so this is 2 times 2 plus 1. And the square root of 9 is 3. Remember, it's the principal root, so we just write the positive one. And then 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So this is not true. So this is an extraneous solution here. So our only solution is x equals 2 over 9. And that's it. So it's a pretty long problem. I'll work out one more. And actually, I'm going to stop here just because the video is going to get really long. So if you have any questions, remember you can FaceTime me, try the assignment, and if you have questions, you can ask in class on Friday.